Hey there. I want to talk about numbers. So I've been trying to figure out how come people aren't taking the coronavirus seriously. And one of the things I've come to a conclusion of is we just haven't had enough data, because it took 67 days to have this thing even show up on the chart, really. And what this chart is showing us is that on March 2nd, it started back in February 15th, but on March 2nd, we had 100 cases reported. So the line from February to March was very flat, only 100 cases. And this is in the US, this isn't worldwide, this is the US. Now, 8 days later, let's see, 11 minus 2, 9 days later, we had 10 times as many, we had 1,000. So 9 days later, we had 1,000 cases. And then 10 days later, we had 20,000 cases. So here we went up a factor of 10. So 10 times 10, or 100 times 10 is 1,000. But now we went a factor of 20, because 1,000 times 20 is 20,000 in 10 days. And then what happened here is today is March 24th. So between the 21st and the 24th, which is only 3 days, we've gone up, we've doubled that again to 46,500 in only 3 days. So in a 10-day time frame, just like, so this was like 9 days, this was 10 days, this went up a factor of 10, this went up a factor of 20. In another 10-day time frame, this could go up a factor of 20 or more. So 20 times 20 is 20,000 times 20,000 is 400,000. And that's going to be disastrous. That's going to be 500,000 people. But I just wanted to kind of talk about this chart, about this curve that's showing this exponential climb, how it changes. And so if you think, all right, let's say that your monthly income was $1,000 right here, and then over the course of 10 days, your monthly income went up to $20,000, you'd be doing something really right. Or let's say $1,000 was your expenses, and suddenly you had $20,000 of expenses, and that would be a huge curve, and that would be very alarming. So in this case, this is the number of cases. And it's very alarming to go from 1,000 to 20,000 in 10 days. Because as the doctors say, that the mortality rate for people who have this disease, which is there's 20,000 of them there, is 3%. So of these 100, we would have had 3 people die. And of this 1,000, we would have had 30 people die, I believe. And then of this 20,000, that would be 60 people. And for 46,500 people, no, that's not right. That's not right. Let me change that. I'm going to bring up a calculator real quick and do this properly, because I'm talking out my ass here for a minute. Let's see. Calculator. There we go. So if we take 1,000 times 0.03, which is 3%, we get 30 people dying. That's good. That's a accurate number. So we have 20,000 times 0.03. We end up with 600 people dying. And that number 600 is very accurate, because today's death toll in the US just reached 500. So the 500 number that we got today is reflective of the difference, the 10 days that we're here, somewhere in there we crossed the 500 threshold, and we're going to expect another 100 people to die to meet that number. That's 3% of 20,000. So now if we go to 46,500 times 0.03, that means by the time we get out here to today's date, which is March 24th, that's another 3 days there, 3% of 46,500 is 1,400 people dead as of today. So they may not have died quite yet, but that's the number we expect to die at 46,500 infections. Now, what's really scary about this curve, I'll bring that calculator back in a minute, but what's really scary about this curve is that as it's ramping up and it's going straighter and straighter up, that means in the 3 days between March 21st and now, we doubled and then some. We doubled and then another, I don't know what percent, but 20,000 to 40,000. So let's be conservative and say we're only going to double the 46,500, and we'll just make it 45,000. We'll just be conservative, and then we'll double that. So 45,000 and 45,000 is 90,000 people will be infected within 3 days of today. That makes sense. If it went up that much in 3 days and the curve's still turning, as the curve goes up, which is what we've seen in China, that 3 more days from now, it will double again or probably more, but we'll be conservative and say it's 90,000. So now let's do a little math. We'll say 90,000 times 0.03 equals 2,700 people dying within 3 more days. And that's going to be March 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th. That's 2,700 people. That's nearly the same number of people that died on 9/11. Now let's go one more iteration. Let's go 90,000, which we know is conservative, and we'll double that again, which we know is conservative because we can see that it's going exponentially more than doubling, but let's just say it's 180,000 by the end of the month. And then we'll multiply that times 0.03, and that's going to give us a number of 5,400 deaths for 180,000 people infected in the US. And that's going to happen 3 to 4 days after the 27th, which is March 30th. So here we are, we're still in March, and we're going to go out to March 30th. That's going to give us, if the charts are right, which I believe they are, and the graphs look the same in China and Korea and Italy, they all go up like this. If ours does the same thing, because of our quarantine is not ubiquitous over the entire country, then we're going to have 180,000 people infected by the end of the month, by March 30th, which is 6 days from now, or March 31st, 7 days from now, at which time we'll have 180,000 people infected, and we'll have 5,400 people dying from this infection, this virus by then. I don't think those numbers are out of line. I don't think I've made any math errors in that. And I just wanted to share this with everyone so that they take it seriously. So thanks for listening.